Chairman Breen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen of the House. House Bill 7882 by Representative McCaulley would permit the Secretary of State, in conjunction with the Office of the Governor, to establish and operate a visitor center and a gift shop within the State House. It's a good act, and I move passage.
Chairman Breen moves passage of the act, seconded by Representative McCaulley, Representative Walsh. Any further? Leader Mattiello. It's been moved. Chairwoman Jello as well. It's been moved and seconded. We do have lights. Representative Gordon on the act.
It is, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. If the manager would yield, please.
Will the floor manager yield? He will yield. Proceed.
Good afternoon, Representative Breen. A couple of quick questions, if you would. You know, I was reviewing some footage the other evening in which Mr. Speaker had given some good advice. It had to do with a bill last year, one of my first floor speeches, and he said, keep an open mind. And I think that was sage, sound advice. I'm going to strive to adhere to that. So I'm going to gather information as I will before I make a final decision on whether I vote yea or nay on this bill. Representative Breen, now I understand this is coming from the Secretary of State's office and is coming out of his budget. The question I have is, because this is a business, items will be purchased, items will be bought, and items will be sold. Have you seen, or has anyone in the committee been presented with a business plan?
We weren't given a business plan. I can give you some basic information if you'd like it.
Please.
Okay. The gift shop itself, which, as you said correctly, will be operated by the Secretary of State's office. It is a line item budget that is in the Secretary of State's FY13 budget request that's in finance right now. It will be overseen by the Office of Public Information. There'll be a board of directors appointed by both the Secretary of State and the Governor's office. It'll be staffed by Johnson & Wales students, and those students will be compensated under the same terms and conditions as the State House tour guides. The hours of operation are Monday through Friday from 10 to 3. It'll have 1 full-time and 2 part-time employees. The initial startup cost, the administration of the gift shop is approximately $33,000 per year. There's a startup cost for inventory purchase at $37,000. The thought is that, other than the administrative costs, the gift shop itself will be self-sustaining by the purchase and sale of those wares that are being sold in the gift shop.
Now, I appreciate that information. The reason I asked specifically about a business plan is it's business 101 to identify your target demographic, what items people will buy. Therefore, we'll need to know what inventory to purchase in order to sell to them. Now, given the numbers, and it's not a vast quantity of money in the larger spectrum of things, but it is taxpayer money. It's troubling to me that we don't have some sort of target demographic or any sort of projection of revenue intake on this. Now, it's my understanding that at one point in time, long before I was here, that we did indeed have a gift shop, and it has since closed. Could you, if you do know, do we know why that closed originally?
I don't know why that closed. That was before my time here. But I can say that my assumption as to the target demographic would be visitors to the State House, because it's the visitor center. So you come to the State House as a visitor, and you would go to the visitor center, and I assume you would be able to buy a snow globe or a plate or a picture or what have you, a mini State House, those kinds of things.
No, I understand. Thank you.
I think Representative McCaulley can help out in this too. Do you want to wait, or you want to? He'll wait. Proceed, Representative Gordon.
Thank you, Speaker. The other problem is, if we're not open on the week, I mean, we nary have a parking spot out here for people that want to come and attend committee hearings or to come here and visit during session. Where are they going to park? Has this been addressed? Especially in consideration that we're not going to be open on the weekends, where most tourists or visitors are most likely to come.
The issue of parking was not addressed during the committee hearing.
Will the, you may have addressed this, Representative Breen, please indulge me if I misheard. The employees will be from where, sir?
Johnson & Wales.
Johnson & Wales. So they're not going to be state employees drawing a state pension, that sort of thing?
Johnson & Wales students that will be compensated under the same terms and conditions as the State House tour guides.
Thank you. Now, we notice on page 2, line 8, It says that the cost, it will defray costs. And I'll give you a moment to take a look at that, see what I'm talking about. The revolving fund and used to purchase inventory, fixtures, supplies for the visitor center and gift shop to defray the cost of staffing the visitor center. In the event, and in light of not having a business plan or a projection, revenue intake projection, will any additional costs come from the Secretary of State's budget as well? Or will we be asked at some point in time to supplement that with taxpayer money?
Well, first off, I can't say that there is no business plan. I don't think the assumption should be made that there is not one because it wasn't presented at committee. I don't think that that would be, they're looking for the authorization. They didn't come in, and they just told us more about the physical space, where it would be, what they were looking to do. So I wouldn't make the leap that there was no business plan in place prior to doing this. Secondly, again, this is coming out, if they're going to ask for more appropriation, they're going to ask for that appropriation in their own budget, in their own light item, for the Secretary of State. They're not going to be coming to us looking for more funds. If they need the funds, it's the Secretary of State that's operating this gift shop.
No, absolutely. I understand. You know, the problem is they're coming to us as the gatekeepers. They're coming to us to ask for permission to open this. And I would think that at the very least they would come with a business plan to open a business. That's basic, Mr. Speaker. That's basic 101. You know, and I would say at the very least, and I'll wrap it up very quickly, Mr. Speaker, that in light of the situation that this state is in, and it's no secret amongst you, my colleagues and my friends, we have the second highest unemployment rate in the country. We have people sleeping in their cars. We have people that have no jobs. How is it going to look just at face value in the press tomorrow? Rhode Island State House of Representatives opens gift shop when we have homeless constituents. Thank you for your indulgence, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Why don't we go to Chairwoman Serpa on the act?
Am I on? Thank you, though, Mr. Speaker. Out of an abundance of caution, I will be recusing myself from this vote.
Why don't we send one of the forms, Representative Serpa? Why don't we go to Representative Chippendale?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've been blessed across my professional career to be able to visit very many states in the U.S. I can honestly tell you that as a political geek, I've always made it a point to go to the capitals if it was convenient. And I can tell you without any hesitation that every single state capital I've ever been to, and there are a lot of them that I've been to, have a gift shop. A properly run gift shop obviously is something that we would all want from this gift shop. I can also tell you that by visiting the gift shops in the capitals, it also provided me with information, documentation as to other things in the area and in the state that I could also enjoy as a visitor. So I think that, in my opinion, it would be a wise move, and I do understand Representative Gordon's concerns, and I share them. However, I do believe it would be an endeavor that would benefit the economy overall, perhaps not the first year, but most certainly within a short amount of time. So I urge you to seriously consider passing this, and I guess that's it. It's just a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to point out that in addition to saying gift shop, the name of this place is a visitor center, and we are a tourist attraction. And so I think this is a wonderful thing to have in the State House. It also, because it'll be staffed by students from Johnson and Wales, it's a learning opportunity for the students from the school. I've talked with people that are responsible for putting this together. And my final point is that I've asked that they be sure that when they're buying merchandise for this place, that they give preference to Rhode Island manufacturers, like for jewelry and things of that nature that they may want to be making for the gift shop. And I've asked them to make sure that they're not selling American flags or state flags made in China and other places like that if they can get them in this country. So with that, I ask everybody to give a positive vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Watson.
Thank you. I rise to agree with Representative Gordon in the necessity and whether or not this room has made the case yet. Has anybody approached the West Wing, the cafeteria in the basement, and asked whether they would not want to assume the responsibility of selling these gift items? Representative Martin, if you care so much about what you just spoke about on this floor that you'd like to see Rhode Island manufacturers get precedence, put it in the bill, because it's not in the bill. What is in the bill is that we're seeking, amongst the 5 people, 1 from the governor's office, 4 from the Secretary of State's office, we're seeking a diverse range of expertise, including community planning. I'm not exactly sure why community planners would have anything to do with a visitor center, to be honest with you. I can understand the historical and preservation needs. This is not going to be a tourist attraction. Tourists come to the state on weekends, and this won't be open during the weekends. And if you think, well, that's just a simple change of schedule, no, it isn't, because we don't have the Capitol Police staffing the building to accommodate tour groups and visitors on the weekends. So if you have this idea that this is going to be a draw, a magnet for visitors, it's not going to be, because it's not even going to be open during the times most visitors come to our state. And if we do try to accommodate them, it'll cost us an additional monies that we didn't realize. I heard that there's no business plan. I understand Johnson & Wales is going to receive a fee for this. Well, Johnson & Wales, last time I checked, doesn't pay taxes. But they do. Mr. Speaker, if I could, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Leader Watson, don't go there. Do you have
Mr. Speaker,
inquiry to the chair?
I understand that. I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, last time I checked, Johnson & Wales doesn't pay taxes. We're going to give them money to run this school, but they're also getting money in the tuitions, and they'll put in their brochures that they're going to provide this learning experience, this practical expertise. For all intents and purposes, we're teaching kids how to run a 7-Eleven. And they're going to get revenue from the state. They're going to get a legislative grant. They're going to get monies from the Secretary of State. They're going to get profits from whatever they manage to sell. And they're getting tuition. And they're not paying taxes. Mr. Speaker, I have no problems with this idea of having some place, because I know that we literally bring in thousands of school children to this beautiful building, not exactly sure what they do here other than see the 2 chambers. They see our beautiful stateroom. Beyond that, I'm not sure. I guess they go to the library and check that out. And I also know that most students, when they come to a building like this, want to bring some trinket, some souvenir home with them. But, you know, we could approach the West Wing and ask them if they would like to take on this responsibility. I'm sure they would indulge in at least a discussion on that. But I don't believe in this economic time, Mr. Speaker, that we should be devoting revenue, particularly when you consider that we already closed a visitor center in Hope Valley. When I hear about the challenges confronting the city of West Warwick, I keep hearing rumors that the Museum of Culture and Work and Culture might be one of the victims to a difficult economic time. These are the things, unfortunately, that become the first casualties of a difficult fiscal crisis. And we're in one. And I dare somebody suggest that I'm wrong with that. So, Mr. Speaker, in that spirit, I have an amendment that I'd like to offer, LC 02085/3.
Representative Watson moves passage of Amendment LC 02085/3, seconded by Representative Gordon, Representative Earhart. Any further seconds? Moved and seconded. Explanation, please, Representative.
Well, it's very simple. The explanation is the amendment. No public funds shall be used or appropriated for the establishment and operation of the Visitor Center and Gift Shop. We've heard from a number of people say that this will fund itself. Let it. And if people are sincere on this House floor, that their districts come first, that educating their children comes first, that providing quality health care for our citizens comes first, then this folly of a visitor center, a gift shop to sell snow globes? Snow globes is what we care about today. Before we address providing the tools to our municipalities for their own pension challenges, we sell snow globes. Mr. Speaker, I can't for any reason foresee why anybody in this room would support taxpayer money going to sell snow globes. My amendment will make sure that that doesn't happen. People that truly want to knock on doors and say you're doing the people's work should support this amendment, and then we can support the visitors center, and we can support the gift shop, and we can support snow globes. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I move passage of my amendment, and I ask for your support.
Moved and seconded. Leader Mattiello on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to this amendment. If you want the visitor center, vote against the amendment. Even though the hope is that the visitor center funds itself into the future after it starts operating, it's going to require an initial investment, an appropriation of approximately $75,000. If we appropriate that money, the visitor center will start. They have to stock the shelves, build the space out, and so forth. The space is already there, but it's got to be organized, built out. They have to buy inventory. That's going to require public funds. Now, should we invest public funds in one of the most majestic buildings in the state, one of the most majestic capitals in the entire country, for a visitor center that is going to serve our visitors? And do we get visitors here, folks? Yes, we do. I confront them in the hallways all the time. I've given tours personally. I believe hospitality serves our state well. How many visitors come to Rhode Island? Approximately 10,000 per year, Monday through Friday. That's a constituency that we can serve while at the same time promoting our state. Not spending any money for good things is a good way to race to the bottom. And you could make the argument that you shouldn't be spending public funds on this, but should we, the state having probably the most majestic state house in the entire New England area, be the only one that doesn't serve its visitors? I've witnessed our visitors walking through the building, not really knowing where to go. This will serve as a hub for those visitors so that they can come in, they can get a guide to the state, they can buy souvenirs to take back. It's a way that we can promote ourselves. And after we make the initial investment, the governor's office and the Secretary of State will manage the center. I believe as they manage all of the other departments, they will have a plan to manage this center. And let's say hopefully it funds itself, and that'll be something we review later. But absolutely, we should put the seed money in to get it going. It's going to serve a public interest, and it should utilize public funds. It's a $75,000 investment to promote our state amongst the 10,000 people per year which come through the State House Monday to Friday. Not promoting yourselves, not promoting a state which is a tourist attraction, where that's one of our biggest enterprises and businesses, and one of the drivers of our economy, is a race to the bottom. Sometimes you have to spend money to make money and to promote yourself. This is a good bill. I support the bill, and I'd ask you to vote against this amendment because I think the visitor center will serve our constituencies and all of our visitors and promote the state. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Leader. Representative Gordon on the amendment. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of this amendment. It's a very simple amendment, and it fits in line with exactly what we should be doing right now as keepers of the coffers. Indeed, as the Majority Leader noted, this is indeed a majestic building. It is. We couldn't construct this building now with all of the revenue that we take in now in this day and age, with all the Georgian marble and so on and so forth. It is indeed, and I have heard from people that have toured the country and other state houses, it is indeed majestic, and we should be proud. But we've got problems here, people. We've got serious problems. I cannot in good conscience go back to my constituents, Mr. Speaker, and look them in the eye when the average salary is less than $75,000 per year, and look the lady or gentleman or that family in the eye and said, I approved public funding to build this thing within the State House when people are sleeping in their cars. I can't and I won't. And I implore you to do the same. You can't. How dare we? We need to take care of some of the structural problems we have in the state first. And then we can look at things like this. When we have visitors that can come here and afford to put gasoline in their automobiles to come here. When they can afford to put coinage in the meters. We have no business plan. Well, there may be one, as we heard, but we haven't seen it. We know when we bring bills to committee, you're supposed to bring your testimony and evidence if you care about your bill. We haven't seen this. We haven't seen this. As I said in the invocation earlier, which I was blessed to be able to give today, we have a solemn responsibility. I don't need to preach to the choir here. You know you have a solemn responsibility with your taxpayer funds. Think about the homeless people in your districts, or those people that are teetering on the edge of losing their homes. $75K may seem a drop in the bucket to our $7-some-odd billion a year budget. We're at the point every penny counts, folks. Let's take a little bit of time to reconsider. And I urge you to vote in favor of this resolution. Let's slow our roll a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Representative McCaulley on the amendment.
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, I too support this amendment. Obviously, I do not support the amendment. I support the bill. But for the past couple of weeks, this bill has been kicked around. And unbeknownst, people have asked me, John, what's up with the bill? I had no idea. Obviously, I know now. This is like, I can't believe what's going on this floor. Rep. Gordon gets up, and he came, and I think that his issues are valid, and he's concerned about taxpayer money being used to fund a visitor center and so on. But the fact that we've been courteous enough to hold this bill over and he can conduct his independent investigations and do things of that nature and so on. Well, I too have done some investigating from the previous owners that ran the gift shop. And with the help of the internet, a deck of cards, a salt shaker, and a Ouija board, I can determine the following facts to be true. 70%. I'm waiting for a call, and I can then be 100% certain, but it's my, to the best of my knowledge, the folks that ran this gift shop, and this is an economic driver for this state, folks. Don't make no joke about it. This governor, EDC, has finally done something right. I think that the heads of government got together, thought about the visitor center closing up there in Hopkinton, and said, well, bring it to the State House. It's up, it's running, it's staffed. You know, we can work something out with Johnson & Wales and so forth. So, wait a minute. Hello? Yep. Miss Chloe, it's 100%, Speaker. I can now 100% certain, 100% certain that this is a good act.
Democracy in action,
yes.
folks.
Well, the fact of the matter is that this couple that ran this visitor center made billions, billions. And that's why the governor wants to capture those monies. They retired, and get this, you're going to love this, retired in all places, a swanky villa, white stucco, terracotta roof, blue shutters, ring a bell? 6 miles out of Baghdad. Yep. Who would have guessed it? But anyway, vote against this amendment, vote for the bill, and let's get on with the people's business. This is nonsense.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Watson, second time on the amendment.
Well, I just want to say, Representative McCaulley, I'm glad you recognize this whole bill for the joke that it is. I'm glad you got a lot of fun. Well, I'm sure everybody that just watched...
Hold on one minute,
I don't know whether this is a point of order. I guess he disagrees with what I'm saying. Maybe you disagree, but guess what? Everybody in the state...
You know, this has been cute, and we've been having a little fun with this. Now let's get back to the quorum. Representative McCaulley, what is your point?
I've sat here and listened to this. And I am just tired. This is a joke. We've waited, we've held this bill
Okay.
for him, and it's just not a common courtesy
There's no
that I'm
point of order.
extending.
Thank you,
My
Representative
point of
McCaulley.
order that he's out of order with his charade, honestly, and this is what happens when you open the door to the clown car.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Watson, continue.
Last I read the Journal, Representative McCaulley, you're in that clown car right along with me.
Oh,
Last I looked.
okay. Now we're getting personal. Everyone, Representative McCaulley, why don't we move on? Representative
Speaker.
Gordon.
Speaker.
Wait,
Somebody
Ladies
has
and gentlemen,
Mr. Speaker.
you turn off both their microphones. I'm in control here, Representative Watson. You're making valid points, and you've gone too far. You've gone too far. Let's keep it on a gift shop. We can throw slings and arrows about each and every one of us in this room, and some can take a little more than others. But this is about a gift shop. I respect your opinions, Representative Watson, but let's not get personal. Get back on point. And when you're on point, you're very good. So stay on point. Stay on point, Representative Watson. Continue.
My point is this is what the people watching this on TV are seeing. They're seeing nonsense about a visitor center. I'll challenge you, Representative McCaulley. I'm sure the people watching this, the hard-paying taxpayers we claim to represent, care more about the rhetoric that I am trying to represent on this floor than the nonsense that you just displayed. The silly little jokes about $75,000 that happens to be real money. And this is a frivolous issue. And the idea that I asked to have this bill held last week was merely because the amendment that I sought wasn't compatible with what I was seeking.
What is your point of order, Representative Flaherty?
This have to be, there's nothing in the bill that he's addressing at this point.
I'm going to sustain your point of order. Get to the merits, Representative Watson.
When I asked to have this bill held, it was because this amendment wasn't going to address the issue that I sought to address. And what I'm asking for is that we have some fiscal sanity here on this floor and within this bill that we're addressing presently. And if anybody cares about the fiscal situation of the state of Rhode Island, you'll see the merit in this amendment. And you'll understand the reasoning behind it, that we can't be frivolous with taxpayers' money. We've seen too often modest little ideas grow into scandals on the front page of the Providence Journal. Now, I'm not suggesting a visitor center or a gift shop will do that, but I want to make sure that we don't squander money for something that doesn't pay itself over. And you know, these tour groups of the school children that come to this building, that's already happening without this bill. We don't diminish the value of this building or the ability for people to come and admire it. What they don't admire is the behavior on this floor, the making and mocking and joking about real legislation and real proposals. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Gordon, second time on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, I've got pretty thick skin, and there's a saying that goes a little something like this: hammering the steel only makes it harder. Bring it. You want to bring your slings and arrows and your silly nonsense into a
Representative
serious
Gordon,
issue?
I'm going to stop
So be
you.
it.
Representative Gordon, you are out of order. Sit down. Representative Breen, you are out of order. Sit down. Representative Breen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I would say that there is no merit to this amendment, and I would urge the members to vote against this. It says that no public funds shall be used or appropriated for the establishment and operation of the visitor center and gift shop. The visitor center and gift shop is going to be used in public space. Public space has to be maintained with public funds. Therefore, this is nothing more than a poison pill to destroy the idea of the visitor center. There is no merit to this amendment, and I would urge its defeat. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Leader Mattiello. Then we're going to vote on this amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The only thing I want to add is that all this bill does is permits the visitor center. It does not appropriate any funds. Any appropriations will be vetted by finance. This does not appropriate any monies. It permits the idea. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Leader. Shall the amendment prevail? Clerk, please unlock the machine. All those in favor of the amendment, vote green. All those opposed, red. Clerk, please lock the machine. With 8 in favor, 59 adverse, the amendment fails. We're back on the act. Representative Gordon, are you on the act?
I am.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Considering the fact that we are looking at an increase in our meals tax, last year we passed a sightseeing tour tax, and we're now looking at bridge tolls. All of these things that have been mentioned by constituents, by business owners, are certainly a blockade to the tourist industry. Of course we want people to come and participate in government and come to our building, as Leader Mattiello noted earlier, that this is a majestic building. We want our constituents to come and participate and come and meet us face to face and talk to us and explore the history of our state. But what about, how about the existing private businesses as a suggestion? I don't know if anyone has the answer to this question. There are vendors out and about throughout this state that are struggling. How about a small permit fee to allow them to come and set up shop somewhere in the building and rotate on a bi-weekly basis or bi-monthly basis? How about that? They've already got the business in place. They've got the license in place. They're paying taxes, and they can come here, and perhaps that would be the one thing that can keep their small businesses afloat with an employee or two. I'm wondering if that was given any consideration, rather than expending more public funds, opening up another spot, when many legislators in this room don't even have office space to work out of. I'm wondering also if it might be possible that the Secretary of State can offer voter IDs out of that space. That might be a more compelling, convincing argument, something that I'm in favor of. Could we do that? But once again, I simply can't go back to my district. I can't. This is me personally. I'm relaying to you my personal feelings. I can't go back to my district and look my constituents in the eye. And there'll be meetings this year, there certainly will be, more than usual, and tell them proudly, with my chin up and my chest out, yes, I voted to expend public funds for a gift shop in the State House. What's that? You're losing your house? Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative De Silva.
Speaker, I just wanted to correct my vote on the last amendment. It should have been a nay. Appreciate that.
We'll have that changed so ordered. Thank you, Representative. Representative Macbeth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I didn't plan on getting up to speak on this, but I think one of the points that we're missing here is the students and the children that do come and visit the State House. And as an educator and somebody that plans the field trips, one of the things that I liked about having the tours come here was the fact that it's free, and they can come here for free, and you didn't have to worry about the haves and have-nots, that the students that have money to spend can spend it, the students that don't have money, and the issues that causes as an educator for the children. Now we're going to have that here at the State House. And please do know, it does cause issues every time there is a field trip for the kids that get to go and get something and those that don't. And also, you take away the reason for them coming here. So please take that into consideration. Thank you.
Representative Dickinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a couple of thoughts. This building is just 200 or 300 yards from the highway, Route 95. Gift shops I've been in often have maps and books of areas. In this case, it would be places a little off the beaten path, like Newport, Woonsocket, South County. People who stray off the highway to look at this building, which you can see from the highway, will find out that there's more to this state than just this incredible building. I have another footnote I'd like to point out. I hope that we would, and this is very serious, I think we should, maybe it's time that we set aside a little bit of that money and made cage separators for certain areas of the sub-basement. Thank you.
Representative Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of this bill, and for one reason, because of the students coming to the State House, a lot of them do want to take a souvenir of their visit to the State House. And if I can just give a little bit of history, if my memory serves me correctly, the Providence, Capitol Hill JCs ran the visitor center previously, and when that group disbanded, the visitor center and the gift shop also had ceased to exist. So I rise in support of this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Chairman Breen. Last light, then we're going to vote.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I would note that when checking with my crack team in the Municipal Government Committee, I was able to discern that the testimony that was given along with this legislation did in fact contain a business plan that was in full color. So should you want to see that, Representative Gordon, it's available with the clerk in the Municipal Government Committee. I mentioned snow globes earlier, and that was done anecdotally and just as a way of saying the kinds of things that are going to be sold in this thing. Remember, it's not just a gift shop, it's a visitor center, and it's a place for people to come in this building to find out the history of this building. There'll be information about this building. There'll be miniature versions of very historical documents that they want to see for sale there. And there are 10,000 people a year that come to this building. You know, and they want to know more about it. They want to know more about Rhode Island. That's the place they'll be directed to. I mean, this is not that big of a deal. This is something that this State House, which is a great building, as the leader said, is lacking. I urge your support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman. There are no further lights. Shall the act prevail? Clerk, please unlock the machine. All those in favor vote green. All those opposed red. Clerk, please lock the machine. 63 in the affirmative, 4 in the negative. The act prevails. Next item.